so close. Well, here is what's unfolding in the lineup now in the last heat of round 5. We're on the lookout for our last quarter finalist now. Jordy Smith up against Nat Young. Jordy, with a solid result here, can go as high as second place on the Jeep leaderboard, making the jump ahead of Gabriel Medina.
I don't know what happened on it, but it looked like a good small runner, and he just didn't quite make it. So I just sat with Roddy for a long time. I think it was like 15 minutes before I got a good wave, maybe longer. And then it was like a little flurry, and that was about it.
And, you know, it's a bittersweet day. I mean, coming up against someone like Ryan, we won't be seeing him until next year. And, you know, Miguel Pupo in jeopardy, Nat Young in jeopardy. Your thoughts on that?
His waves opening up.
I'm loving the look of this set. It's a sizey one, maybe one of the bigger ones of the day. And there's a handful of waves coming in.
And Jordy's going to fade his way into this pit. But it looks like he's been knocked off somewhere inside that thing. There's some good, decent-sized set waves rolling our way. Jordy's going to get caught on the inside here. And Nat, who is desperate to get through this heat, is going to have a shot at this one. Looking at backdoor. And he pulls into a huge cave, still gunning. And he has positioned himself in the worst possible place there. That big, tall lip coming crashing down on top of Nat Young. He's quick to get back on his board, though. He's okay.
What a soldier. I mean, he absolutely got guillotined on that thing. It just axed him right on the back of the neck. But, you know, he wasn't comfortable with trying to exit towards off the wall. He said, no, I don't trust it. I'm going to try and go out the doggy door. But, you know, busting through a lip at this size is almost impossible, Ronnie. So he saw that extra length. I mean, had he had this wave over Ronnie, I bet he would have just plowed through and tried to exit out the traditional way through the main door. But he said, okay, I'm going to go through this one pocket, and now I'm going to edge out right here. He's trying to look for the exit. There was one, but he was just a little late to the show. You can see how that wave, it actually had some opportunity there. So maybe one big pump and trying to, you know, get out towards off the wall. If he could redo it, that's what he would.
Hey, I'm kind of living a leisure, but we love to have you down here on the beach. You're obviously a huge fan. There's Nat on his backhand right now getting shacked, trying to come through. There he is. What a beautiful ride right there, live on the beach. He's not done yet. Oh, he goes to the float, comes down, kapow. We love it. Well, what do you think of the action?
In Malibu, Strider, we call that the floater of doom.
Yeah. Mike D living in Point Doom. So having a good time over here. You got your kids over here, and you obviously love the action. Who's your pick for the win out here?
It's tough. I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing Kelly advance, John's advance.
Huge fan of surfing. Actually has a radio station or a podcast that he does, and featured Steph Gilmore on that earlier this year. You can find it online as we have a look at Nat Young's wave. A 6.33 for this one.
Well, nice little wrap there after that barrel. And that floater actually did add to the score just a little bit. 6.3, not a bad score at all for Nat. Because, you know, most of the points are going to come from this right here. And it's a proper little shack, busted through the curtain there, Ronnie. So I think for one of the first waves we've seen today, the judge is adding a little bit for some maneuvers.
Love that floater. Looks so cool with the crowd in the background. Nat just gliding over the lip there. 15.5 minutes to go.
So I always see him packing big waves at backdoor, but he's not the guy that uses his body as much.
Some movement here. Nat Young looking left this time and getting into a good-looking pipe wave. And he should find the exit here. He stands tall, and you can see, you don't often see that from Nat. You can see how much this heat means to him. Really celebrating that exit. And that's going to replace the 2.27. Nat Young's going to edge ahead here. We'll see a replay in just a moment, and we'll see just how deep in this barrel Nat got.
Well, we saw this set pop up on a second reef, so this little swell starting to grit its teeth a bit. And that is one of the more pure pipeline waves we've seen in this event. You know, with the smaller waves, typically it's just all about backdoor. But this wave actually popped up at pipe. It's a proper little pipeline barrel. And Nat adjusting perfectly, weaving and pumping in a barrel to get speed, but not too much. Just one or two subtle little pumps to make sure he gets spit out.
Made his exit after the wave had spat.
It's just like really good, obviously, but a lot better, and they surf out of their skin in heats, and I feel like I just learned that I have to surf my best all the time, not just when I think I do, but actually just step it up every time. So I think it's just adapting to heats and trying to do my best surfing in the heats.
And plans for 2017?
I'm going to try and do a lot of trips and main goal is to re-qualify for the tour, so that's number one. But yeah, I want to get some good waves and just enjoy myself.
Well, we'd love to see that happen for 2018. Well done, a great year. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Rosie. A popular character. Just during that interview, we had a couple of waves ridden, and they were bombs. We got some big numbers coming your way. Nat Young, on his previous ride, had an 8, so he was well out in front, but Jordy Smith has picked off one of the cleanest backdoor waves of the event window. Here's Nat, though, on another good pipe monster.
Wow. Again, this is 2 waves in a row. We're seeing proper pipelines to this swell showing up. Look at the wind, absolutely perfect southeast wind. So Jordy just riding this wave. That was absolutely a perfect wave at backdoor. And Jordy did a pretty good job of getting pitted at the second one, or the first part of that barrel.
Garth Tarlow, he's known Jordy for a long time. He's got a good head for competition. And he'd just be reinforcing the game plan to Jordy Smith at the moment. But what a read on this second little section of the ride.
Jeez, Ronnie, that was such a sick wave. And actually, that drop was a little heavier than I first thought. He had to kind of lean on that inside rail as he dropped in, and that's technical. Everything's kind of forcing you to surf flat. So I give credit to Jordy for knifing that thing.
Definitely say this might be the best heat for quality waves we've seen during the event window. 2 beautiful pipe waves for Nat Young. We're going to check out those 2 rides now on the heat recap.
8-point ride and then an 8.17. This was the first one. This is a smooth 8 right here. And again, that was the first legitimate pipe wave we've seen in this event, really. 9.43 though for this absolute perfect backdoor gem. Nice barrel, and they said, hold on, a second one. So 2 barrels on 1 wave. That's got him in a pretty commanding position, but he still is in second place due to this wave right here. Nice late drop, and really the meat of this score is on that drop. He fell on that inside rail. Just a 2-second barrel, Ronnie, but that was a shack.
Well, when you see that wave on the replay, you can tell that Nat did all the work to get that excellent score when he was paddling in. Almost delayed his paddle, his entry into that wave, and he almost had a perfect 10 earlier today, so he'll be feeling good. Here we go, Jordy Smith chasing down Nat Young, a good long barrel. He's still gunning through this one. It stays open for him. That feels good. And this is the Jordy Smith we love. When Jordy starts to get that feeling and starts throwing out those wild claims, he generally goes on to a pretty big result. He's still celebrating.
What are you so mad about, buddy? He's fired up, Ronnie, is what's going on. He has got so much adrenaline, and he got that wave under priority. Nat's got to be kicking himself. So he needs a 6.74. You got to think he's going to get it.
Well, Nat, now he's looking to drop an 8-point ride. He might even be chasing more. We're going to wait for Jordy Smith. Jordy Smith's score to come through here. But that was some Neko Padarats type celebration.
So it's a grower, you know what I mean? That wave started out as head high, and then by the time he got out, it was well overhead. Keep in mind, Jordy Smith, 6'3". Look at a tiny little wave, and this thing gained momentum, gained power. That wave absolutely square, and it didn't look like he was going to make it. And I'll be honest, he was behind the foam ball in a tight little section. Watch the beginning right here. He's going to have to really cannonball up. He's going to get tight and compact, but he still has to weed, so he's keeping all that momentum down while he's staying small. That's counterintuitive, but he did a great job. Again, Jordy Smith, 6'3", knifing through that little gutter ball. I'm thinking he's going to get it for sure. He needs a 6.74.
Love it. Well, great to have your company, Ross, for one of the heats of the event so far. That was all-time. Nat Young still has a chance to keep his place on the championship tour, but he's going to be watching a couple of other surfers very closely. He got this wave before the hooter, chasing a 9.93, got pinched on the end. What a comeback from Jordy Smith. Had that 9.43, and really that was the only decent scoring opportunity left. That wave that he got, and I think really juiced. Saw him take the lead from Nat Young.
And the best celebration we've seen all year from Jordy. He looked like he was ready to punch someone in the face.
He's going to punch himself in the face.
He was psyched.
18.1 heat score total. Nat Young Also a respectable scoreline, 16.17, but Nat out of the contest now and has to watch on